Senator Markey.
Mr. Chairman, thank you so much. Yeah, we need a timeout on this issue. You know, we don't know enough to make an informed judgment in this committee on an issue which is fundamental to American economic security. And I think that the more that people understand about this issue is the more they're going to become in exporting our most valuable resource, you know, our oil, our natural gas. We're not in surplus in the United States at all. We still import natural gas. We still import oil. So we're not in a situation where we should just be sending this valuable element in our security overseas as we export young men and women over to the Middle East to defend imports of oil into our country. Okay? That's a big decision for us to make in a foreign policy context, by the way, in terms of what does, in fact, enhance our security. Last year, natural gas prices went up 27% as a result. There was fuel shifting back over to coal, meaning that our greenhouse gases actually went up 2% last year, went up last year because of the shifting back to coal, because the price of natural gas went up. So that's a big decision as we talk about climate change in this committee. We'll have jurisdiction over any climate treaty. We should talk about it. As we influence that and America's ability to meet its commitments at Copenhagen, a 17% reduction in greenhouse gases by 2020, we have a responsibility to talk about that. We also have a responsibility to talk about the impact on the manufacturing industry, the natural gas vehicle industry, and the utility industry, and consumers in our country as well. The more that we export is the better it is. And by the way, this oil, this natural gas is highly unlikely to ever go to the Ukraine. Let's just say that. They don't have plans to build an LNG import facility. They don't have the capacity to build the terminal. And the Turks say they would oppose it, even giving access to it. This is a highly volatile, cryogenically frozen fuel that would have almost a nuclear bomb-like impact if there was a terrorist attack or an accident that occurred as it was being transported. So I understand Turkey's objection, but Ukraine's unlikely to ever build an import terminal. Moreover, as we look at this issue, we have to ensure that we think about American consumers. There's always been a debate over what impact a climate change bill like Waxman Markey would have on American consumers. Well, this would have a dramatically larger impact than anything else that's ever been done. The Energy Information Agency pretty much has concluded in its statement back to the Congress that that if 4 trillion cubic feet of LNG are exported, and they've already been permitted, that it would lead to close to a $62 billion increase in costs for American consumers. American consumers. Now, if we talked here about a $62 billion tax on consumers each year in any other context but national security, people would be outraged. Huh? And if I came from an energy exporting state, I understand that perspective. But 37 states are energy importing. They don't have any natural gas or coal or oil. We have to import it. So I understand the perspective of those states that export. But this is our most valuable commodity, oil and gas. It's not like a watch manufacturer exporting. It's not like the kumquat industry exporting. This is special. Oil and gas drive our foreign policy in the Middle East. And if we're going to be talking about a country which is not in surplus right now, the United States, for short-term diplomatic reasons, to be sending a signal, well, the signal is going to be to Rio, to Seoul, to Tokyo, and to Beijing. Get ready to purchase all this very low-cost natural gas. As that low-cost natural gas goes out onto the open market, our prices go up because we have less of it. But the bonanza is in these other countries. And we have to talk about who the beneficiaries are in terms of their manufacturing of goods sold back to us. Because the control of this is not in the Congress, and it's not, for sure, in the White House. The control is in the CEO's offices of energy companies in the United States. They're going to take it to the highest price. And the highest price by far is China, by the way, and Japan, and Rio. Okay? Going south and going east, okay? But it's not going west to Europe. The hand on the tiller of those ships is controlled by Rex Tillerson at ExxonMobil, and he has a fiduciary responsibility to his shareholders to get the highest price. And the Ukraine can't compete, and Europe can't compete. Just the bottom line. And so that's just the reality where it's going to go, but the reality is the American consumer is the one who's going to have this energy tax put on their shoulders, and it will hurt all aspects